Welcome to LCAP Legacy, Decades of Dedication, the podcast that celebrates the incredible individuals who have shaped the heart and soul of the Lawrence County Community Action Partnership.
Each episode, we'll dive deep into the stories of those who have devoted their careers to making a difference, not just in our organization, but in the lives of the people we serve every day.
We'll uncover their journeys, explore the moments that inspire them, and highlight the lasting impact of their commitment to LCAP's mission.
So whether you're here to learn, be inspired, or simply celebrate the amazing people who make LCAP what it is, thank you for joining us.
This is LCAP Legacy, Decades of Dedication.
Let's get started with today's guest.
Welcome. You are now listening to the fourth episode of LCAP Legacy, Decades of Dedication. And of course, in the studio, I have my wonderful co-hosts, Kim and Amber.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday.
But we also have a wonderful guest joining us here in studio, and that is Michelle Scott, and she is the nutrition coordinator for LCAP. She works closely with the early learning programs here at LCAP. So thank you so much, Michelle, for joining us in the studio.
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, I'm privileged to be here. Thank you so much.
Of course. Well, you have such an amazing story, and I would love to dive into that. I know that previously, we had the opportunity of recording a video for Patty Pedro when she was retiring. And during that time, I had the opportunity of learning a little bit more about your story and how you got involved with LCAP. So if you would like to share that, we would love to hear it.
Yes. So I'm humbled by this story, actually. And if you just allow me just a little bit leeway to kind of trickle a little further back before me getting here. Those of you, or a lot of the people who know me, know my background, my spiritual background. And so I come from a lineage of pastors. My dad was a pastor, my mom's a pastor, my brother is now my current pastor. And there was a period of time in our church that it was like no one was working. And I remember that my dad, who was my pastor, he had called all of us who wanted to work, called us forward, and he prayed for us. And he prayed that God would open up doors and, so that we could work and, and sustain ourselves. Shortly after that, I ended up divorced. I had 2 kids. One of them was just an infant, was just born. And I ended up on cash assistance. At that particular time, and still now actually, the requirement for being on cash assistance is we had to either be working or working toward employment. And so they had work programs. And it was people that were there at the county assistance office that was presenting the 3 programs that they had, and we had to choose. And so I chose the one that belonged to the agency. It's called Work Ready today, but back then it was called Supported Work. So I chose Supported Work. I knew nothing about LCAP. It was just a presentation of the person, the case manager at the time. Her name was Lori Vincent. And it was just the way she carried herself, and it just kind of, her personality just kind of jived with mine. And so I selected that program. I ended up coming to the program. When I came to the program, there was, I want to say, it was about 20 of us that came to the program together. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to say like 3 weeks into it, I'm feeling like I'm the only one there. I'm coming to this program, and I'm the only one coming. And I asked the case manager, I said, am I the only one without a job? And she said, no, you're just the only one who stayed. So I'm like, oh, okay. So she asked me, I remember like just kind of taking assessments and things like that about, where we would be most successful, what kind of, job we would want, and, what matches our skills and things like that. And I said, I would love to work here. Mm-hmm. So a paid work experience was arranged for me. So I'm coming in as a client. I was the secretary, just part-time. Earning my paid work, I think it was $4.95 at the time for 20 hours a week. And I guess, obviously I made an impression on the powers that be. Nancy Welker was the director of the program. Jen Elliott actually was one of my case managers. Can you believe it? It was Jen Elliott was one of my case managers, and they recommended me for the paid work experience, and I, did that for a little bit. Well, a job came open in our transportation department. And so they hired me on full time. I was so grateful for that paid work experience. I transitioned over to our transportation and was a customer service representative for about a year or so. Well, then things kept evolving. I'm not patting myself on the back. Honestly, I'm giving God the glory. And I thank God for LCAP really because they saw something in me. Remember I said we got to walk in victory. We got to walk with our heads up high. We got to walk in confidence. They saw something in me and they invested in me. And that's the one thing I love about this organization is that they saw me as a client, but they saw me more than that. They saw the potential even when I kind of felt like I didn't have it myself. They saw it and they gave me the opportunity. So I went from paid work experience, customer service representative in transportation, ended up in our workforce development department. At the time, it was called employment and education. And Nancy was the director. Jen was one of the case managers, along with two other ladies that were there. And so I ended up as a client in the supported work program, ended up being a case manager for the program, and then eventually being the coordinator of the program. Wow. I was like, wow, this is amazing. As I look back over my life and I think through the steps that I have come, really, I am so eternally grateful for this organization because they gave me the opportunity to succeed and be successful and to grow. And that's one thing I say about this agency. You can grow. You can go anywhere. We're so big. We're so large. You can do so much. The sky's the limit. And every skill set, and whatever your skill set, there's something here to fit you.
Absolutely. That's such an amazing story.
Thank you.
Sure is. Yes. Gave me chills.
And, you have seen the changes throughout. And not only have you seen the changes of the organizations, but you saw the changes within yourself that you've been able to make. So I would like to know, how has your personal experience with LCAP shaped the way you approach your work today?
Yeah. So, kind of coming up and growing up through the ranks, coming from client to staff to management, it helped me to really appreciate and not take anything for granted, but appreciate the opportunities that that were afforded to me. As a result, like I said, that I really have a strong sense of appreciation. And there are days that I feel like, oh my God, I don't want to, or right. I don't feel like it. But again, just kind of refocusing. I wake up in the morning and I say, you know what? I'm grateful that I have a job that I could come to. And so as I come to work, no matter what capacity that I've served in various positions, it helps me to realize that the people that are coming after me, the clients that we serve, that we got to look at things, not look at them necessarily as clients, but look at them as people who have potential, that it is up to us to help bring out, the potential that they have in themselves. And so it makes me look at people differently because somebody looked at me differently. And then it helps me to, push me a little bit further, give a little bit more appreciation for the work that we're doing. Because it's not just about signing on the dotted line. It's not just about I'm giving that report. But eventually that report has to do with people, that we're servicing. And so it makes me think, we got to put more care and concern and compassion into our work and into the people that we're servicing.
So, Michelle, back in October of 2024, LCAP was informed by the Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank that we have been awarded the Hunger Hero Award Gold for the third year in a row. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and why LCAP was chosen?
Sure. Okay. So look, let me stress. You said the gold level, not bronze, not silver, but we got the gold level.
Gold.
Hey, yeah. So we are grateful for the gold level. It comes as a result of the many needs that we meet within the community. As far as our nutrition is concerned, so LCAP, we service people in our education, we service transportation, employment, housing, and child care. But one of the biggest needs that is common among everybody is everyone has to eat. And so we recognize that since everyone has to eat from infants to seniors, we have programs to meet every one of those needs. And so whenever the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank was looking at how are we going to award them, and if we are, what level, then they're looking at the services that we've provided. So we have Kim here, one of our hosts, who is involved with our SNAP, and so she's our SNAP outreach person. So because we have that program and we're offering that in the community, that was one of the areas that they looked at. We feed children not only with our CACFP, that's Child and Adult Care Food Program, which is where we feed our early learning program kids through that particular program. So we operate that while school is in session. When school's not in session, guess what? We got you. And so we offer the summer food service program so that the kids can have an opportunity to get a meal while school is out of session. Mm-hmm. We don't know people's home life. We don't know what they have, what they don't have. And so we just want to make sure that we have resources available in case you got a need. We're here to help meet that need. We also house a food pantry, and within our food pantry, we operate a senior box program. So our seniors then who may need a little helping hand nutritionally can come once a month and pick up a food box along with some meats and some self-staple items to help tide them over for the month. And then everyone in between, from whatever age you are, can take advantage of the food pantry if you feel yourself at an insecure stage with food. And so they looked at that, and they looked at the fact that those were the check boxes, and we checked every one of those boxes. So it was determined, you know what, they deserve the gold level. Not only that, I forgot to mention that we have a weekend backpack program, so that the kids, whenever they go home for the weekend, while school is in session, that we can make sure that they have something to eat over the weekend until they meet with us again. So LCAP is doing their thing. You know what? And it's LCAP, and it's all the people that involved with it's because it's not just me. This nutrition program is bigger than me. Like I just mentioned, there's Kim, who does our SNAP. And then there's a whole team of other people, the kitchen staff, and there's a whole team of other people involved. Lynn Henry, during COVID, she and I were in charge of the whole food distribution. And thank God for her, I really appreciate her. It kind of bonded us closer together. So it's so many people involved as a team. So it's LCAP's gold level, and I'm appreciative of the food bank for recognizing that. That gives us a little oomph to keep on going, doing a little good in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. And like you said, there are so many hands within the pot that help make things successful.
Sure.
So if there was one thing that you could tell people that you wish people knew about the work that your department is doing, what would you tell them?
Our hearts are in it. And we care. We have compassion. Because you know what, just as my story was, I was a client, been there, done that. There's others that have gone through the process, and within my department, not just food, but within my department, there is, we have family service workers, we have health, we have mental health. We're all in it for the heart. Like, we really care, and we really want to be able to help move people to that road of self-sufficiency. It takes longer for some than it does for others. But you know what? We're there every step of the way. And so we're vested. We're heavily invested within, the people's needs and the people that we're servicing.
What advice would you give to parents who want to encourage better eating habits at home?
Oh, very good question. So we have to model. If we want to encourage our kids and our family members, we have to model it. So, there is that old adage that says, do what I say, not what you see me do, but we have to walk the walk and talk the talk. So if we want to eat nutritionally sound, we've got to practice it as well.
Absolutely. How do you ensure that the meals meet the nutritional needs of the children?
That's very easy. So, and it's to no doing of my own, but there are guidelines that are set to ensure that we're meeting those nutritional needs of the kids. And so the government, USDA, they say things have to be a certain sugar limit. You have to have all these components: the grain, the meat, the vegetable, the fruit, the milk. And you can't have so much salt. You can't have so much sugar. You can't have so much fat. And so anything that we put on the menu has to go through a system. And we ensure that, we're meeting those guidelines. Not everything, though, like the best stuff that we think, according to our taste buds, are the fattiest stuff. You can't have all that all the time. But so, yeah, that's just, we have to go through a system to make sure that we're meeting those needs.
Through our early learning, we have our family engagement nights that we host once a month. Can you tell us a little bit about the pop-up markets that we have?
Yeah, the pop-up markets. That's another benefit that had come through the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. And the pop-up market, nutrition-wise, of course, we're talking about making sure that the kids have something healthy to eat, because they can get chips anywhere, they get the candy, and that's what they want. But we have a responsibility to educate them and to just kind of, like I said, mimic along the way, good habits. And so that pop-up market is full of fresh produce, fruits, and vegetables. The idea behind it is that, when we're going to the grocery stores ourselves as adults, we're pushing our buggy, and hopefully we're stopping at the produce, section of the grocery store. And it's usually the very first thing when you walk in the grocery store, you walk into the produce section, right? Yeah. Because that is that's the healthiest part of the food that we should be eating. So it's right there. It hits you in your face. And so we want the kids on their level to be able to understand that mom is shopping, but guess what? You can shop too. And you can make choices as well. And so we find that when the kids are making their own choices, they are encouraged. They're more readily to eat what they're choosing. And so the pop-up market enables them to go with their shopping bag, because we provide them with the little shopping bag, and to go down the line and pick up the fruits and the vegetables that they want. And so we have an adult walking with them, helping them shop along, and the parents are behind us and helping as well. But this is their opportunity. This is the kids' opportunity to choose healthy options. And so the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, they gave us that opportunity, and we should be starting that back up again, I think, in March or April. I can't think which month. And it's such an exciting time to see them. And look, you should see their eyes. Their eyes get so big, like, this is for me? Like, I'm making this choice? The very first time we did this, there was a little girl. She was our very first customer. She got her very first bag, and we went down the line, and I believe it may have been pineapples, which was the very first fruit on the line. And I asked her, would you like pineapples? Do you like pineapples? She says, just like this, oh, yes, I love pineapples. And as we moved down the line, she was so excited about being able to pick up and pick out her own produce. Needless to say, she liked everything that was down there that we had laid out. So she picked up everything in her bag. She needed a couple of bags. Her bags were heavy. Aww. But it gave us such joy, she was excited about good food, not candy, good food, right? Fresh produce.
And I think it's also important for children to experience that, because as adults, typically we go to the store, we're like, don't touch anything, just relax. Right. So that's kind of a new experience for them. So I think that's really beautiful.
Excellent. That's excellent. That's a great point that you just made. At Frumo 7, where we hold our family engagement nights, there is in the section where we're at, where the food is at, Kristen Green, who, kind of manages that building, she has a setup of fake produce and a whole area where they could shop on their own, get that experience, and pay for it on their own. Now, with what I'm doing, they're not paying for it, they're getting it for free. But I like that experience that she enables them to be able to shop and then let them know, you know what, you have to pay for it.
Yes.
Everything's up for you got to pay for it.
Not
So
free.
it gives them the whole shopping experience, teaching them early. Train up a child, in the way they should go when they're old. Then they'll know the way.
Absolutely.
I got to firsthand experience a few of those shopping trips with the kids. And it's so nice. She'll make them write a shopping list on the whiteboard, scratch off what they picked out in their little carts.
Yeah.
And like you said, Michelle, just to see their faces, even with the fake play, they're so excited. And just at the rural markets, up at the family engagement nights, just to see, the excitement over a pineapple and an avocado and a watermelon, and just going back to being like 3, 4, and 5, and just think about that feeling of, picking out your own produce, then going home and washing it and snacking on it. It's amazing. It is. Yeah. So it's wonderful to see.
Because you know what? I never had that experience growing up. Like, I'm old, y'all. But and I remember I was in the Head Start program, but back then it wasn't, that opportunity wasn't there. And I'm just so excited to see, just even coming full circle. I started out in Head Start, and now I see the opportunities, how it's grown, and the amenities that are available to them are so much more greater than it was when I was growing up. So that's really exciting to see how things have evolved.
All righty. So that's going to wrap up all the personal questions, and we're going to go ahead and move on to our quick fire round. I believe Amber started last time, so we're going to go ahead and have Kim start with the first question.
All right, great. So Michelle, on this past Saturday, I had the privilege of going out to lunch with my daughter and your granddaughter. And and Saray gave me a couple questions she wanted me to ask you.
My heartbeat. Okay, go ahead.
She said, ask my Mimi.
Mimi.
Do I have it right? Okay. Ask my Mimi what her favorite color is.
So, and she knows this. This is why she wanted you to ask. My favorite color is purple. It's a sign of royalty. Not that I think that's who I am, but you know what? We got to walk in confidence. And so, yep, purple's my color.
I love that. And she said, I know my Mimi. I know everything about her. It's purple.
That just put a big smile on my face.
Good. So me too. So I was super excited. And then she wanted me to also ask you too, where do you like to go Sundays after church to have lunch? And who's your favorite date?
So it's not my favorite place to go after lunch, but Saray, who is my favorite date, we have a Sunday date after church every Sunday. And I try to venture her away from this place, but she keeps coming back. But China Bee, as she calls it, is her favorite place to eat lunch. Oh, I try to tell her, look, there's Applebee's. Let's go to Mama Jane's. Let's go here. Let's go there. She said the last time, she says, Mimi, I'm feeling pressured. My belly is really hungry for China Bee. So
I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right. So it's all about her.
Yes.
It's all about her.
That's right.
All righty. And Amber?
So, Michelle, if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
It would be sushi. And so just coming in here, Wendy and I were just talking about we have to go back to our favorite sushi place in Boardman. That is my favorite food. So yeah, if I could eat it every day, I would. But it's not good for you to do, but that's my favorite food.
Nice. All right. If your life had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh, Lord. Okay. Let's see. A theme song would be, that's a good question.
That is a really good question.
Wow. So it's a gospel song, and it's a gospel praise song, and it's called Victory Is Mine. And so, we're faced with challenges in life all the time, but we have to walk in faith and knowing, you know what, I've got the victory. Victory is mine.
I love that.
Yeah. So we got to have a positive mindset. We can't walk through this life with a defeated mindset.
I
We
love
got the
that.
victory.
And since you are the nutrition coordinator, I do have a question. If you could share a meal with anyone, past or present, who would it be? And what would the meal be? I'm thinking it's probably sushi. But that's just me guessing.
But no, you're absolutely right. And then I'm going to have to say, you all know exactly what I'm going to say, who she is. And that's my granddaughter. I'm telling you, she's my favorite person in the world. But
You're hers too.
And you know what? Guess what? Sushi's her favorite food too.
Uh-huh.
She loves sushi. Now, she's not as adventurous with it as I am because, I love all the different kinds of sushi.
Mm-hmm.
She loves the basic sushi, but it would be sushi. And then I have to get the lo mein noodles because that's one of her favorite as well. And so lo mein noodles and the sushi would be a meal that I would share with my granddaughter because I'm telling you, there's nothing like, look, if you don't have grandbabies, get some grandbabies, y'all. Because she just, she brightens my day. She makes the sunshine for me. She blows my hair back.
That's beautiful.
I was impressed when I saw her eating sushi and she was eating the crab right out of it. And I said, go you, sweet girl.
She mentioned that to me on Sunday. She said, I don't know if somebody referred to it as lobster. And she says, no, it's crab. Or she told me that she corrected it. Someone corrected it and said, no, it's not lobster, it's crab. Or it's not crab, it's lobster.
I think my daughter Ella said it was an apple. She was like, is there an apple in there? So it was really fun. It was a nice time together. And she said, please ask my Mimi those questions. Make sure, Kim.
So as we wrap up this episode, once again, I want to thank you so much for joining us into the studio. But one of the big topics here is legacy. So my last question to you is, what legacy are you hoping to leave at LCCAP?
I want people to, when they think about me, I want them to think, and, like I had mentioned earlier, that victory is, who we are. And I want people to look, when they think about me, is to think about that she made it. She made it through. She overcame some obstacles. But not only that, but I want to be the person. I want them, to know that I'm that positive person that could encourage them to do the same thing. No matter what they're facing, you can overcome it. I would like to leave that behind. You can make it. I know you can. We have so many resources just within our agency alone, but then not to mention the community at large, at which we may not be, now, as big as we are, we don't do everything, but we know who does. If we can't do it, we know who does. And so I want people when they think about me to say, she gave it her all. And she encouraged me along the way. Somebody did it for me. So I would love to be able to pay it forward. So my legacy is, you can make it. That's what I want them to think of. You can make it. And that I help somebody along the way to make it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your
Michelle.
story. That was beautiful. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to get off your chest or say before we end here?
Well, you know what? I do want to thank. Oh, and I'm gonna say something. I would really like to thank Tom, Jen, Nancy Walker. Like I said in the beginning, she was the one who pushed me. She was the one, with those that were underneath her. They were the ones who afforded me the opportunity. So I just really want to say thank you. Look, it wasn't always a bed of roses. It was not. There were some challenging times for me. And the one thing I do know about this place is we are family oriented, and they make some allowances just so that I can be successful, so that I can be the single mom that I was and be successful. So I appreciate the flexibility and the opportunities that they allowed in this place for me here at LCCAP. And from the bottom of my heart, anytime, any little thing. Wait. So I just celebrated 25 years. When I came, you know what? I didn't realize, I didn't plan to stay that long. I didn't. But I did. And you know what? That's amazing. That's an amazing accomplishment.
It is.
And so I am so I'm elated, but I'm humbled by that. And all because someone gave me an opportunity. So I do want to thank everyone who had anything to do with me. Thank you for the opportunities, and thank you for the patience. Because, look, I learned a little slower than most. I always say that. I pick up a little slower, but when I got it, I got it.
Got it.
And so they were patient with me, and they continue to be patient with me. My current director, Melinda, I often say she's that one that is, hurry up, come on, hurry up. And I'm like, and I'm the one, hold on, wait a minute, I'm coming. But
I'll get there when I get
there.
there.
I'll be right there. And Tracy Cherry was a huge impact on my life here. She, she was a huge impact. So I'm just eternally grateful for everyone that had anything to do with my success here. I'm assuming I'm successful here.
I would say so. I mean, you reached 25 years.
25 years, yes.
That's a great milestone.
Exactly.
So hopefully in 25 more years, you'll come back and we'll do another episode.
Oh, okay. If I'm not in Florida somewhere.
Managing a hotel down in Florida,
Right,
the 5-star.
I can see it. I can see it.
My dream job.
I'm like, hey, I know her.
That's right.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining us in the studio once again. It was a great hearing your story and how you've been able to overcome, and not only overcome, but have some victory throughout your story. Yes. So thank you for joining us, and thank you guys all for listening. We will be back again next week with another episode, so tune in.